Yo, we are live, y'all. Welcome to the BreakEFX Podcast, episode 2. Thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to have some casual talk here with our guests. First, I want to, again, say thanks for everyone tuning in. I appreciate you guys, listening to what's going on here and what we got going on. This Saturday, we do have our podcast again of our hip-hop leaders in the community, and we do have Buddha Stretch as a special guest that's going to join us for that on Saturday at 3. So make sure everyone tunes in for that. I think we're going to give it another quick little second. I'm just waiting for some people to get in the room here that we're in. I want to send a special shout out to the G Fam and Jamie. They're a sponsor and work with us closely. Love you, Jamie. Thank you for everything that you do. Okay, we got some people coming in. We are at the Park Meadows Mall. So we're kind of out and about. We're going to go to a park. We're kind of just moving around. We're just going to have, like I said, a casual talk with our guests. And we're going to go through some history and just give you guys the rundown of GWT and where it came from and how it started. There's going to be a lot of talk and conversation going on with this because our history is pretty lengthy. So we're just barely going to, get going here now with this. So we'll get as deep as we can. We're going to go for about an hour here and bang this out. So right now, I want to introduce, my biggest mentor is one of the person who, showed me the game, put me down. I want to introduce my boy, Scream. Yo.
What's up, how's it going? We over here just chilling, kicking back, repping with the crew.
Yeah, we actually got a bunch of us here right now. I'll give you a little some of the crew members over there, some crew members over here. We're all just kind of chilling out, relaxing, being crew today, actually. So this is my boy Scream. Yo, Scream, couple questions real quick. You're our originator, you're our creator, for GWT. So I guess my first question is, when did you start dancing? When did you start breaking?
I started breakdancing. I think it was like late '92, early '93. We were already doing some hip hop dancing and some just messing around really at that time with the hip hop dancing, but got really big into the graffiti scene in '92. Started our crew up. First, we started with our graph crew, and then the next year, we definitely in '93 we started our dance crew, and we built our dance crew up together. First crew members would be probably me, Ark, Sick Dog, Crank, my homeboy Hilbert, Even One, my homeboy Jose Whisk One. They were both brothers, and then the other brother Tino Take One. So we had the three brothers that were down with our crew at the beginning. I think that was pretty much the squad right there, right out the gate.
Wow, man, you just said drop some names, bro. That's crazy. Yeah. I heard those names in a minute. So what year would you say GWT officially started?
So '93 was the official year that we put the crew together, and we actually had got the crew name off of one of the graffiti pieces that we had dropped. My homeboy even had dropped a piece that said GWT, put it on there, and then inside the letters it said "Get with this." So when we were thinking of our dance crew name, I said, well, why don't we just make it "Get with this"? We had already had a piece up and shit, so that's how we started repping our crew, and that's how we got the name. Was from Even One came up with the first mural and the name idea, and we took it and ran with it from there.
Dang, that's crazy, bro. That's knowledge right there. You answered one of my questions. I was going to ask how you came up with the name, but you just answered it right there. That's crazy, bro. When was the first time you seen b-boying, anyone dancing, even hip hop dancing? When was the first time you seen someone dancing?
I used to see a lot of the hip hop dancing all the way since when I was a kid. I was always, I guess, at the skating rinks and stuff. You'd always see kids doing the hip hop dancing and shit. And actually, I seen one of the b-boys that I know that we put down with that's down with GWT, Al Capone. I seen him hip hop dancing before we were break dancing too. So I mean, like, yeah, the hip hop scene was out here and definitely was pretty live. And there were some dope ass dancers from back then too that were just before we started breaking that were doing a lot of hip hop shit at the, like I said, mainly at the skating rinks and little house parties and shit.
Yeah, nice. Tell me about.
Oh yeah, and Lalo GWT, he was doing the hip hop at the skate rinks too back in the day.
Oh yeah,
so I have to definitely show him some love.
Him and what's his name? TJ.
Yeah,
his name. Sure. They used to do a bunch of stuff. I got tell him about the skating ring nights, the late nights, the all nighters.
The skating ring nights, they would have the all nighters. We would get to go there and we get to just pretty much just dance and show off all night long. And even on the nights when they didn't do the all nighters, they would have like the dance stand at the end of the skating.
Yeah.
And everybody would just get out there and it'd get live. And we even started, once we started breakdancing, we definitely took the breakdancing scene to the skating rink and got that shit going, got that live too.
That's what's up. Can you remember your first battle that you ever were in?
Yeah, my first battle I was in, I think, was at Club 80s. It was 1993. I'd messed around battle before, like with the hip hop stuff as a younger kid and stuff. Just, you know, family gatherings and shit. You know, everybody, the kids getting around and start battling, just messing around hip hop. But first official b-boy battle was definitely at the Club 80s, and yeah, I won that night too. So
yeah,
sure. There was some dope b-boys there. One of the legends, John, was definitely there, and that was when I first started just kind of breaking through and, you know, making a name for myself. So he definitely like welcomed me into the scene, the dance scene, with, you know, open arms, and it was a dope experience for sure.
Man, yeah, shout out to John, man. You guys look him up, do your history, man. He's dope, man. He's dope.
One of the illest to do it, man, for sure. Was definitely a big part in, you know, leading the way for the Colorado hip hop scene.
Yeah,
b-boy scene.
Tell me about battles, how battles were back then compared to battles today.
The battles back there were pretty raw. They we learned from watching the movies and just old school b-boy videos and shit. But I think it was a little bit more intense. I think, you know, there was definitely some rivalries and you know, just a bunch of dope ass dancing and calling out and shit. And people weren't scared to battle too much. I mean, I guess maybe there was a few that might have been, but no, we weren't. So yeah, we were out there just battling away, whoever, whenever.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that's the biggest difference. Is I think what you're saying is like people were just a little bit more raw back then. I think there was just a little bit more. People were. What I feel like maybe it was a little bit more like people really took biting seriously and like really like battling seriously. Like it was just like people took it offensive if, you know, like you called them out or something and took it personal, and battles really did get heated where compared to now they really don't.
Yeah, I think it was still a lot more, you got to remember it was a lot more underground. So still at that time, I would think, I know, it was way more underground. So I think that had a big part to do with it because, I mean, it did kind of blow up a lot in the 90s and the early 2000s, and that's why it is at where it is now. But I think just that raw underground energy and a lot of the kids from the, you know, from the ghetto and the neighborhoods and shit like that, you know, that were just hungry, and that was our only thing that we had really, that, you know, every day, that's what we love. So I think the hunger was definitely a little bit different for some of us, but you know, there's a lot of still amazing b-boys all over doing whatever they're doing. But yeah, we had that push for sure, and we were like, as soon as we got around each other, we pushed each other even harder. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Sorry, we'll let these people go ahead and go in front of us. So I guess maybe one thing I would like to touch on too is like you just kind of touched on it, you know, like people like you guys grew up in a ghetto, man. You guys grew up in a rough neighborhood, you know. Maybe talk about, you know, how it was growing up. Maybe, you know, like the neighborhood and stuff, you know.
We came up in we grew up in the projects, and we grew up in the north side, North Denver, and it was tough at times, but I mean, you know, it is what it is, you know, and that's what pushed I think some of us to just be tougher at competition, because there was always competition in the hood, whether it be sports or, you know, some people like to fight, some people like sports, some people like football, whatever it was, but the competition was definitely always there in the neighborhoods. So when we started dancing and we started kind of getting really, really good at it, it was like we pushed it to the fullest, you know, like with all of with everything we had. So I think that just that struggle and pushing all our whole lives and shit at everything we were doing to, you know, just day by day struggle is definitely a big factor in that situation.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Tell me about some break-offs or some clubs or just like the scene in general, how it was back then. Because, you know, right now here in the scene, you know, there's dance studios everyone could access, you know. I mean, you know, not right now because of the virus and whatnot, but, you know, we have dance studios. There's a lot of jams nowadays. What was it like back then for jams, and where did you guys go to dance and practice and stuff like that, you know?
One of the first spots that we started that I really remember dancing at club-wise was like Rock Island, and it would be like all the b-boys would show up over there and just kill the circles, and the energy was live all the time, and I don't even know if they're doing that at like how we did back then out here now. But it was like every weekend everybody got together and got it cracking. And so that's definitely one of the ones. And then the battles were definitely raw. They had the Tivoli battles. They had the Club AD battles at the beginning. They had the Eddie's SOS Underground battles were always pretty live. And they had kids from all different neighborhoods showing up, all different crews. I think the battles were pretty high back then. There was a lot of rivalries, like I said. There was a lot of calling out. There was, you know, there was some raw energy, you know, when people were battling and bringing it every time, and you had to stay on your game to definitely be up there on the top of the top. If not, you know, you're gonna get smoked. So yeah.
Where would you guys practice at back then?
We practiced wherever we could, actually, but we practiced one of the main spots was definitely at the spa. We practiced at Ray's house. We practiced at park, the sidewalk, wherever. But I'd say a lot of places, the most spot where a lot of the underground b-boys would all show up and train at the spot, and it just kind of gave that much more energy.
Yeah, if you don't know the spot, man, again, do some research. It's still around. It's not like it was back then. Back then it was raw. They had like graffiti on different floors. There was probably like 6 different like pieces of linoleum throughout the whole place. Bus.
They had music studios. They had youth programs. They had definitely a lot of cool programs going through that place and stuff. Gave a lot of people who didn't really have nowhere to go after school to stay away from the gangs. The gangs were really big at that time in the 90s and stuff. So it kind of gave us just a way to get away from all that and stay away from the violence and the gang life and all that stuff.
Yeah. Tell me about, because I know me and you've talked about this before, but I don't think a lot of people understand that there was one time where the scene kind of went really underground and there was no jams, nothing really going on. And everyone's like, we're at raves busting and shit, you know? So maybe talk about like how the scene in the rave and how like b-boys were there doing their thing.
I think like in the mid 90s, it definitely got really big in the rave scene, and the b-boying and the rave scene definitely was kind of intertwined with each other. It got pretty vicious in them circles too. I mean, you had all kinds of people trying to get it in there, and the raves were all the way in Lock Bully, Colorado Springs. You know, That's one of the first times we first started dancing against Soul Med back in the day when they first started blowing up, and they were part of the rave scene. I mean, yeah, the rave scene was definitely live. There was a lot of crews and underground crews were there, definitely repping. And like I said, that's how I first when I first started dancing, I started in the rave scene too. And one of the first b-boys that I seen was John killing the circles at the raves in like '92. So yeah, that was for sure.
It was crazy times back then. Talk about okay, so you talked about the originator members of GWT. Who are some other members that came along the way that you maybe want to just give some recognition to, and some shout outs to?
All right, I want to give, first off, I want to just say RIP to King Jabs. You know what I mean? Jeff Jabs. He was rocking with us. There was a lot of people that came along. Al Capone, of course, my boy Epi One, Lalo, and then they came around and started blowing stuff out at the beginning. Let's see, Bazaar was one of the first members of the Get With This crew back in the day. There was a couple other of them. I'm sorry if I forget anybody and stuff, but yeah, I got and then a little bit after that, we have Ray came in and started destroying everybody. That props to B-Boy Ray.
B-Boy Ray.
We had a little show in the beginning too, rocking too.
Yeah.
He came out as a little kid, a little boy, just killing the scene, taking fools out.
Remember Tivoli Jam?
Won the Tivoli Jam, his first jam. Smoking fools. We were going all over the United States, smoking everybody. Anybody who wanted to battle, we was always ready.
Yeah.
So
tell me about this. I always loved this when I was growing up into the b-boy scene. Everyone was always talking about the Arc and Scream verse, J-Rock and Josh? What was this? Visa. Tell me about a couple of those battles. Those battles were hype, man. I always hear a lot of people talk about those battles. I never got a chance to witness them, but just tell me about that rivalry, because again, like you talked about rivalry earlier, and I guarantee you, that was one of them. Again, J-Rock and Visa, they're part of LOF. Mad props to them, respect. But maybe talk a bit about your guys' battles. What was that like?
The rivalry was there, man. It was like classic. It was like everybody wanted to see them battles. Definitely, that was the battles to see at that time, especially when Jay came along and he exploded onto the scene, and he was a force to be reckoned with, and he definitely was holding it down for LOF. Him and Ark would go rounds and rounds and stuff, and they're like I said, it was could have went either way. They battled it out, whatever. I'm sure there's some footage out there. We'll be trying to pull it out here soon. So, I mean, we'll let y'all be the judge and shit. But, yeah, y'all know that I was wrecking shop on my battles. So, we definitely had some shit going down. We had the, Sacred and the crew for a minute, and he ended up going to LOF. So, we had Al Capone on the crew, and he ended up battling Sacred at one of the battles, too. And, that was a good battle. I'm sure that footage is out there too. We'll be definitely finding all this footage here soon. We're working on that. But yeah, the battles were definitely hyped. The rival was real. I mean, like Ark and J-Rock were like the first really big rival. Started in the 90s. That thing was fucking like Yous wanted to see that battle guaranteed. So we're definitely gonna pull some of that footage out hopefully here soon. Who else? Just, man, everybody, bro. Like, we had the team together. We had a lot of people. We had, who else did we have up there? We had a good 8-0 came along later down the line. Mad shots to 8-0. I mean, we got Smooth One over here.
Yo.
We got, we got crew for days, bro. So, I mean, I could keep going and going, but,
a lot of history we got here, man, and that's the thing that we're doing right now. We're just kind of letting Colorado know its origins. There's a lot of people just saying we made up this, we made up that, but let's just hear it from everyone's mouth, and
we definitely had all the crew members coming from our crew. We had little Cruz dancing with us. We had little Raw Skeleton, Slippy One dancing with us. We have Cosmo dancing with us. We had a grip of people dancing with us. Mad love to all them people that just, I know everybody kind of did their own thing and went their own way too, but I mean, at the beginning, they was right here with the Kings.
Yeah, super dope. Say what?
So I got to take Joe to GWT.com.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. We'll just follow you. We could do this in the car. We could do this in the car. Yeah, guys, we're just on the move right now. We're gonna get in the car right now. Go ahead, Scream, get in, and we're gonna keep it moving, keep it talking. Hold up, man. Let me get let's get a shout out to my boy right here. Right here, my boy Show.
What's up, baby? How's it going?
Yeah.
Representing Denver, baby, 303.
Yeah.
Representing that new school life forever, baby.
You already know.
Brought
boy.
that new school to Denver, baby.
Fresh out rapping.
Amen.
He's going to be coming for y'all. Better be
Man.
careful.
Yeah, crazy stuff, man. You guys will see more of him. I love you, Show.
Love you, brother. Call me. God bless you.
God bless you,
Yep.
bro.
Love you, Sean. Yeah, love you too, brother. Thank
Yo, we're just keeping it moving here. We're keeping it moving and grooving. You guys just seeing one of our special guests. We have a couple of other special guests that are going to come in and be about it. Yeah, what you need to do. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we had a question real quick. I'm going to get this real quick from our boy. Ooh, yeah, Alex, white boy. He asked, he said, do you think the struggle pushed and played a major part in the rawness? And is that even possible for suburban breakers today to tap into? So pretty much, the struggle that B-boys were going through, that you guys were going through growing up in the neighborhood and stuff like that. Do you think the struggle played a part in the rawness and how raw you guys were?
I do definitely think that the struggle played a big part in the rawness. When you don't have nothing, you're always pushing for a little something more. So, I mean, I definitely think that took a part. And I think it can also be, maybe some of the more kids from the suburban, it might be a little bit harder, but I think maybe just a different way, like, just spread the love and the energy. And I think maybe just the training's just got to be right. If you got the right circle and the right vibe and the right guys with you around dancing with you, then I think you can get that. You could get that from any circle, but it's got to be someone who else wants it just as much as you. And that's what we definitely had is we had a strong crew of dancers that definitely all wanted it just the same. And we're pushing each other every single day, every move, every bit, every power move, every, top rock. We were always teaching each other whatever we could. So I think they could get that. And I think it's just maybe just training like an all-star B-boy, all-star athlete. It's going to take something like that, I think, for sure. And just that hunger to want it and to keep wanting it.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people, and I've heard this, a lot of people say, back in the day, GWT was like super aggressive, and we were super aggressive towards each other. And I think a lot of people, like that rawness that we're talking about, a lot of people maybe not understand, or maybe they're going to hear this for the first time, is that we actually talked more shit to each other than we did other people. So like I'm pretty sure you could vouch for this. Like when we were battling each other, we'd be like, oh, that shit's whack, like fucking do better, try to knock each other off our game. And really just, we were more aggressive to each other than I guess other people. And people probably see that as a bad thing, but I think
just as aggressive for sure.
Yeah.
For
and
sure.
I think people seen that as maybe a bullying thing, but I don't know, maybe that's where the rawness and the competitiveness came from. Do you think?
Yeah, we definitely were pushing each other, and we had fun with it, and we had a clown around, and we had a bunch of guys who were jokesters. So it definitely Yeah, the clown sessions got live and the battles got liver. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's up. That's definitely had a big part, man. Just joking around with your crew and calling out moves and be like, that move's all right. And people started taking offense to that type of stuff and wanting to battle a little bit harder. And yeah, it would get real physical, real live, real quick.
So, what do you think? What do you like about the scene right now in Colorado? What are they doing right?
I think what they're doing right with the Colorado scene is just, I mean, there's a time to be physical and be aggressive and be in your battle mode. But besides that, I think Colorado has a lot of love for each other. And I know there's a couple little people that have little fallouts here and there, but I mean, at the end of the day, Colorado definitely has a big scene out here that is definitely, we're thriving, we're vibing off of each other, and we're showing mad love to each other, man, and just still pushing each other. And I'm trying to just keep that realness out here, trying to keep that rawness out here, and just trying to show these kids, a little bit of some old school shit from when I grew up, and some of the shit that I learned from before I was dancing. From the older G's, like this guy, Mr. OG, Angel Batch Diaz in the back.
Oh, okay.
TBB.
Yo,
fucking Bronx,
yo.
right there. The originator, the legend himself. Right here.
I try to battle with mother, you guys.
Yeah. Nah, that's the legend
Yeah,
himself.
we got the legend Batch
with
us right now. If a lot of you guys don't know, Batch is here right now.
And if you don't know Batches, you could Google him.
You better recognize.
You can see him on a couple of documentaries.
Yep.
He's there. Batch one right there.
Yeah, that's the man. We're gonna end up doing a podcast with him later on, so we get a lot of his perspective. He knows a lot, man. I mean, we're blessed right now to have such a legend.
And we're putting him down with GWT.
Oh, yeah, we're putting him down with
we already put him down with GWT. Look at him. Get with this from the motherfucking
all day.
303.
Yes.
Give him that mile high salute, OG.
Salute.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, man. So
that's that realness right there,
yeah, man. That's the realness right there. We just out here vibing. Like, this is just crazy right now.
So yeah, I think the Denver scene definitely just showing love and appreciation of each other, man. Because without each other, this dance stuff wouldn't be possible, And without each other, we wouldn't be able to push each other, and without each other, we wouldn't have competition. So I just think everybody, when the time is right, get your battle face on, but when besides the circles, it's time for us to come together and help push this community thing and help push this b-boy shit a little bit harder. And we're definitely here and we're ready this year. As soon as this shit slows down, we'll be having some shit going.
Nice. Tell me about some b-boys back in your day when you started. Who did you look up to as a b-boy? Like, who were some of your favorites? Or you're like, just got inspired. You're like, damn, that motherfucker's tight. Like.
Well, when I first started in Denver dancing, I'd say it was definitely a lot of the older guys from LOF crew. They definitely inspired me, Fiends and Mars, and there was a couple other guys, but it was mainly Fiends and Mars. And then they had Quick Step out here from New York when I first started dancing, so I met him like right out the gate. I was at Rocksteady one night. Unfortunately, my brother Art couldn't go because he wasn't old enough yet. And so I was at the actually, no, I met him at this other party. So we danced. I trained with them. They asked me to be a part of their crew, and I told them I was down and stuff. And then I said, let me talk to my brother and see what he wants to do, because we were just had started our crew. And I went home and I talked to my brother and I said, hey, these guys, they're pretty dope, badass. They got, some guy from New York, killing shit. And my brother was like, nah, man, we want to just do our own thing. We got our crew together. Let's just stay all one. And so I definitely called Fiends and told him, hey, thanks for the offer and stuff, but we're gonna just, do our thing with the GWT, get with this crew, and yeah, so we definitely ran with our crew, but big ups to the Lords of Finesse because they definitely were out there paving the way and did teach me a lot of stuff. Fiends helped me with a lot of stuff, man. So mad props to Fiends one, man. OG stuff. They and they had the dance scene live at that time. It was like them and like I said, little John was killing the dance scene at that time. He definitely was one of the first ones I looked up to, and then after that, there was a lot of us, man. Mad props to Little Sacred was repping at the beginning. He was hip hop dancing with us too at the skating days. My brother Shiz was in the Get With This crew rocking with us. My cousin Mike, dog shit, aka Caca El Perro. He was repping with us from the game.
Yeah, dog shit.
OG Doggy.
Yeah.
His brother Sick Dog. I mean, we had a nice squad. OG Amp Dog was getting down right from the gate. He came along right after we got started too, and you were putting down mad fucking shit at like you said, the rave scene was live, man. It was like the b-boy scene was the rave scene. That's where we went and battled and trained every weekend. So yeah, it was definitely a little bit different energy back then.
Nice. So we got a question. Oh, what's up, Debbie? Hi, nice. Thanks for watching. Roland, yes, he said, ask him if he remembers the battles at Arvada High School against the Smurfs.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's another crew that when we first started too was the Smurfs, man. The Asian kids, they had a fucking amazing crew. These guys were out there flying around in their flares and their head spins for days. I mean, they used their little helmets and stuff, whatever. That was kind of cool. But yeah, they definitely were out there, and I do definitely remember the Arvada days and that had a couple other places up there towards Westminster and Arvada that we were dancing at the schools repping with the Smurfs. I remember at South Lincoln High School, my brother actually beat one of the top Smurfs at Lincoln High School, and won that battle. We had the first place trophy and shit. You know what I'm saying?
No way.
Anyway, but yeah, so the Smurfs were definitely one of the first crews out here. They had came out here from Cali, so they had some sick live power. I just don't know if they could rock and dance like we could, but they definitely had the power.
Yeah. So who was their main member? What was his name? Fucking Boone.
Boone was one of the main guys. He definitely they you know what, they taught us a lot too though. So no disrespect to those guys, just nothing but love for them guys too, because they pushed us to push harder, and they definitely pushed us on some of our power moves because them guys were definitely doing some outrageous stuff. So my brother Art took that and he ran with that, and his head spins improved like 10 times more. Just learning from that dude Boone. He was definitely a cool ass b-boy, and he taught us some shit too, and their crew taught us some shit. So, and we also taught them some stuff. So it was, that's what I said. The b-boy scene, we pushed each other all the time back then, and when it was time to battle, it was time to battle. But at the end of the day, it was, it was all love. So
yeah, dope. So this last year, you've been battling hard, bro. Like I got so much respect for you because, man, you've been hitting it hard, like super hard. Like major comeback. You've been killing it in the Sipes. Been killing all the battles last year. Where did that drive come from? Like you inspired me because like the minute you started training again and getting back into it, like your passion for it is just it's so it's like contagious, bro. But when you started dancing again, what were you like? What's going through your mind and stuff? Like, why were you doing it? I think it's really important for older, for younger cats to hear from the OGs, that are still dancing and still pushing. What makes you want to do that? Why do you do it? Why do you still do it? We're older. What keeps you pushing? On that level.
Well, at the time when I think just I had a lot of stuff going on. Was dealing with some depression and a lot of kind of drinking a lot for a little while, and some some drug abuse, and so I just I went through some shit, and I started getting sober again and slowing down on the drinking and stuff, and I think just the timing was right, bro. I talked to you, and you said let's start training, and I just felt something inside that was pulling me back to dance. So and then when I danced, it was like it was that feeling again where I could lose myself in the music, and I could be, I could have no worries for a while, and and then I also just knew I could still do it. So I was like, I want to give it a nice one last run, before, I can't do this shit no more. So just the timing was right. Talking to you, everybody got together. Everybody was pushing me. A lot of the youngsters were pushing me. Everybody welcomed me back into the scene with open arms, and that helped a lot too. Just all the love from everybody definitely helped, keep me motivated and involved, because I think, sometimes you don't realize it, like, but if the love ain't there, man, you're not gonna really feel it. So, just the whole scene just was vibing with me and shit, and that helped me through this too. And just being able to just dance, and then I was like, once I battled again, I was like, I want to battle again. I want to battle again. Yeah. This way I can, because I know I could do better than that last battle, because I was just getting started. Mm-hmm. So again, so yeah, that's what helped me, man, and it definitely helped me with my depression and my addiction and everything else. And
damn, bro, that's some real shit, bro.
We're here doing a lot better now, man. All of us are together. We're all trying to make this thing work, make the teamwork, make this dream work.
Yeah. If you could give some advice to these younger dancers right now, what advice would you give to the kids coming up?
My advice to the kids coming up, use everything that you can. Don't just focus on, like, a lot of times I think kids try to focus on, I just want to be strictly DJ, but I think it's kind of like you got to mix everything into that, man. You got to try to use your, if you watch martial arts, if you watch hip hop, if you like some type of, some people like to do the house dancing, some people like popping, some people like locking, some people, I think if you could intertwine a lot of all that stuff and maybe throw some new shit that's just your twist off to it, man, that stuff goes a long way. And then definitely when you're battling, focus on your opponents. Always keep your eye on your opponent, because you want to watch if you got to come back with something really hard, or if you're coming back with something just
yeah.
So and what to come back with? Are you coming back? Do you want to hit him with the dance? Do you want to hit him with the top rock? Do you want to hit him with the bottom rock? Do you want to hit him with the blow up? Do you want to hit him with all of the above? So just focus on your your dance and your battling. You, like I said, just use everything that you can, man. There's really not no wrong way to dance. So I mean, just whatever it is, and try to be original with your stuff. That's definitely a biggie right there. And and if you are using some that like a certain move that a lot of people do, throw your own twist onto it and stuff. And yeah, it's one of my definitely advice for the kids.
Nice. Heck yeah, bro. This is dope.
Don't be afraid to call someone out.
Yeah, don't be afraid to call someone out.
Get out there. Oh, worst come to worst, you lose. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win, but at least you battled and you're like, yeah, I got out there and did it.
Yeah, maybe that's one thing I wanted to touch. Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh, look at that middle road. I guess like you just said that, call someone out, battle them. We don't see that a lot these days. We do, but it's kind of from like either the older generation or the generation right under that. So I guess maybe like he's saying, maybe like battle more, test yourself more.
I also say to try to get more people involved, like more of your friends or more of, you know what I mean? Everybody needs to try to get somebody else involved. And then the more people you have dancing around you and dancing with you, the more you're going to push. And then you're going to push to try to push them. So, I mean, just, try to build the community, your B-boys, your friends that you're dancing with try to be around them as much as possible and dance. This way you're pushing. If you ain't pushing, there's always someone else that's pushing every single day hard. So.
Let's go back a little bit. What were some of the first moves that you learned how to do? What were some of your favorite moves that you started learning how to do?
Favorite moves would definitely be my favorite move to learn right out. The first one took a minute, but to learn was the windmill for sure.
Yeah.
I love windmill. I love, back in the day, we messed around, did hand spins, knee spins.
Oh, shit.
Scrap walks, all the old school basics. Handstands, hollow backs, inverts, whatever. Popping. Popping was definitely one of the first. I mean, shit, I was popping in the early 80s when it first came out, but I was just a little ass kid messing around. So, But yeah, popping was dope. I still love popping to this day. So,
I see you out there sometimes hitting that circle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whatever you got, that's your shit.
Man, so we're just about wrapped up here. We got a couple more little things. Is there anything you want to say to the scene, to everyone?
I just want to say mad props to everybody out there that's representing or supporting the scene and doing their thing. And, all the B-boys from before, from the old school to the new school to the now school. Shit, I just want to show love to everybody and just tell everybody keep up the good work. All the battle heads, keep up the hard training. Don't give up. I know this whole COVID shit kind of threw a little wrench in our shit, but don't trip, man. We'll be back as soon as this thing calms down a little bit, and we'll get everything cracking again. And looking forward to seeing everybody in the scene again. Mad love, much respect. Mad love to the OG once again in the back. Yeah. OG Batch 1, Diaz, TBB, Fahrenheit 75. Get with this crew. The newest member of the Ghetto Wrecking Thugs right there.
Ghetto Wrecking Thugs. Getting wild tonight. Yep. Groundwork technician. Get with this, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Again, we're just touching surface right now. We're barely just getting started with this. GWT has a lot of roots. I'm going to be bringing Lalo in for an interview. I'm going to be bringing Ray in. I'm going to be bringing a lot of people in to just kind of get their point of view on what we did back then.
Yeah, and any of the old crew members or new crew members, if I forgot anybody, y'all are all in my heart and shit. Mad love to all my crew members that have been there through the thick and thin, and we're all still repping, and mad love to everybody, to the scene, everybody, much love. 303 720 Kings.
Yeah, y'all. Yep. Make sure you guys tune in this Saturday. We have another panel going on. It's going to be a dope one. Like I said, we got Buddha Stretch who's going to be up on there from NYC. He's going to be on there talking about some stuff about hip hop and its origins, about Colorado hip hop, about things we could do better here as a community. I'm going to keep reaching out to everyone. I'm going to keep getting people on here to speak their voice.
Oh yeah, man, love to all the B-girls out here still holding it down too, man. Y'all are awesome. We definitely appreciate all y'all, and we need to get the B-girl scene definitely thriving too. So everybody show love to the B-girls and shit.
Yeah, we definitely need to get that part of our scene going, and there's a lot of work to do. And we're gonna all do this, and we're gonna be able to do it together. And that's the whole point of this, is to bring everyone together. It's hip hop, y'all. Let's keep it rocking. Stay safe, y'all. Stay moving.
Stay inspired no matter what's going on. Use, like Scream touched on it earlier, about how he used, dance as a release, from everything else that's going on. And I urge everyone to do the same right now. There's a lot of shit going on. The world's fucking crazy, and use dance.
Do your stretches, do your breathing, take a deep breath, and dance.
Dance, y'all. Dance. We love you. I love you guys. Thank you guys. From the bottom of my heart for watching and tuning in. Thanks to my production team, Toby and Adrian and the rest of the crew. Mills, love you
with
guys.
this BreakEFX crew.
You
You
know.
already know what time it is.
You know,
Fahrenheit 75,
all day.
all the way live from the Bronx.
Yeah.
South,
Big shout out
that's
to my brother out here, Andy Love. One of the
Yeah.
best people, if we can't forget him. Out here, Andy, you know who you be.
Yeah, much love.
Yeah. Y'all, we're going to sign off. Thanks again. Toby, you can take us out. Peace. Till next time, y'all. Tune in. We'll be back for some.